Hey everybody, welcome back. Um, it's been so cool the last couple days. I've done several videos and I'm getting so much interaction from y'all. I dig it. I'm having a lot of fun. Um, you don't all agree with me, and that's cool. That's America. I totally dig it. Um, I am always happy to interact with people even if you don't agree with me, if you see the world in a different way. That's what people do. That's what people used to do all the time. By the way, välkommen tillbaka. Tack för sist. It is Friday night. Having a few. I know I've had some of you tell me, why do you do that? It's what I do, Friday and Saturday night. I work hard during the week and I like to cut loose a little bit on the weekend. Still have to get up and work in the morning, so I try to take it relatively easy. Something's going on out in the hallway. It's pretty loud. But yeah, it's been really cool getting comments from y'all, reading them. I've tried to respond to everybody. I think I've responded. What the hell? You guys can probably hear that. It sounds like somebody's fighting out in the hallway. I'm not going to go see what's going on. I have no interest in that. But one of the topics I've been talking about lately is America. Is America exceptional? In my view, yes. I think it's without question. And, you know, I've talked about how there's all these Europeans, not just Europeans, Africans, people coming from all over the world for the FIFA World Cup and finding out that, hey, this is a pretty cool place. This is not what we've been told. So I know there are so many haters in this country right now, and I still believe it's a small percentage of people, but they're very loud, they're very vocal. It's a lot of college students that have been taught that America is this horrible place. So I wanted to bring up something that to me just proves that we are a cool country, that we are a great country, that we are a welcoming country. So I don't know how many of y'all know this history. At the end of World War II, America was the victor. I mean, America defeated Japan and Germany. And both of those are allies of ours now. Now, if you've studied human history, it's very common for the victor of a war to basically take over a country, take over a culture, take over a society. That's been the history of the world through all human history. What did America do at the end of World War II? We were the only country with a nuclear weapon at the end of World War II. Nobody else got a nuclear weapon until 1949. And if you're not familiar, World War II ended in 1945. What happened with Japan was horrific. I'm not saying it was a good thing. I'm not claiming anything like that. So many people lost their lives when the nuclear bombs were dropped on Hiroshima and, was it Nagasaki? I don't think that's right. Anyway, Hiroshima and another city. Many people lost their lives. It was horrific. People that study wars and aren't biased, many have said that if that hadn't happened, many more people would have died in World War II. That's not my point. I'm not trying to justify, I'm not trying to anything. It was horrific. But it did end the war. And so many people died in that war. But my point is that America, not only did the United States not take over Japan, take over Germany, which they could have, they helped Japan and Germany rebuild. And it's what America does. America comes to the world's aid. I'm not going to get political here. I don't care who you vote for. You know, I've had people tell me I had a blue mug and somebody says, oh, that's a Trump mug. No, it wasn't. It was a mug my wife gave me that said trophy husband. And I'm embarrassed to put it on the screen, so I don't put it on the screen. I'm not an overly political dude. I used to be into it more, but I've come to the decision that most politicians just are in it for themselves. Skål. And I don't think most of them have our best interests at heart. If they did, we wouldn't have a $39 trillion debt, which is unsustainable, by the way. It will come to a head at some point. It's like if you are a family that has a credit card and you have $100 debt, and then you have $1,000. Say you're making $100,000 a year with your household income. Then it's 1,000, then it's 10,000, then it's 100,000. At some point, you can't pay your bill anymore, and that is going to happen to us. And people are going to freak out when all of a sudden Social Security gets cut, Medicare gets cut. Straying off topic. We helped rebuild these countries. When disasters happen in the world, the United States is almost always one of the first countries there, giving aid, helping the world recover. I get, I did my rant 2 or 3 days ago, where I talked about this. I get really offended when people that live here put our country down. I say it all the time. We've got faults, we've got flaws. Let's keep working on making it better. But we are a great country. We help a lot of people. I don't know if you're familiar with this. NATO is a cool alliance. It's a lot of countries, mostly European countries, and the United States. But the United States pays the giant bulk of the cost of NATO. I mean, it's not even close. I think, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I'm pretty sure it's the United States pays more to support NATO than all of the other countries combined. Because it's important. It's important that the United States is strong and can defend itself. We're lucky because we have oceans on both sides of us. Europe does not have that. And a lot of European countries, well, I don't want to go down this road too far. I really try to stay out of the political part of it. But this is a great country that takes care of the world. I've said this 100 times. I'll say it again. There's a reason why millions and millions and millions of people are trying to get here. It's because it's a great country. I was born and lived in Norway. I grew up in Canada. I love both of those countries. There are things happening in Canada right now that I do not agree with. We are so lucky here that we have the Constitution. We have the Second Amendment. Not the Second Amendment, the First Amendment. I mean, I dig the Second Amendment too, but the First Amendment protects our speech. I don't know how many people are aware that in Great Britain, in Canada, people have literally gotten arrested and jailed for saying something. Not for doing something, not for hurting anybody physically, because I'm all for it. If you hurt somebody physically, I think you should be in jail. If you're a really bad person, you're a rapist, a murderer, a pedophile, well, I probably shouldn't even give my opinion on that, because I think you should face serious, harsh punishment if you're a really bad person. But to say something, I cherish the First Amendment. It's what lets me even do this, because there are people, I guaranteed, that are watching this video that don't agree with me, and that's okay. I hear people all the time that I don't agree with, but I cherish the right to say it. I don't agree with Nazis and communists and white supremacists, but I defend the right to say it as long as they're not hurting anybody. And that's what makes us great. You're not going to get arrested, or you might in some states, but eventually it'll get to the Supreme Court and it'll get overturned because you have the right to say what you want to say. You could be a dirtbag, a scumbag, somebody I would find reprehensible, and you might spew filth and hate, but you have the right to say it. I try really, really hard to not put mean, hateful, hurtful rhetoric out there. I try very hard, even when I'm worked up, to keep it civil. Because, somebody just commented on just a couple of videos ago about how she's obviously younger than me, but growing up in the 90s and 2000s, people weren't talking about politics all the time and who did you vote for and what do you believe. And I wrote back to her and said, I grew up in the 70s and 80s, and it just was never, ever an issue. I never knew any of my girlfriend's politics. I didn't know who they voted for. Most of my friends, we never discussed it. And it was a better time, a better place back then. We got along. And there is a serious divide in our country right now. And I don't know what fixes it. There's a serious problem in our education system. So many young people are being taught that this is a horrible country, that we are bad, evil people. And it's just not true. The founding fathers, yeah, they had flaws. Of course they did. They lived in the 1700s. And this presentism that exists today, where people think they're better than them and they would have done things differently in 1770. It's just, you're living in a la-la land. You don't know who you would have been in 1770. I would have been a different person if I'd have grown up in 1500 or 1700 or 1900. You're a product of your environment for the most part. And a lot of people believe what they are taught, especially at a young age. So if you're taught that this is a horrible country, I don't know if you're familiar with the 1619 Project, which is horrendous in my opinion. It's just full of lies. And I was going to say I get tired of defending the country. I don't get tired of that. I will defend it. I've said it before till my last breath. I want us to get better. I really do. I want us to keep progressing and keep being more inclusive. And I don't want people to be marginalized. I don't want a certain set of people to feel like, well, you're this because, I get it. I'm who I am. And I didn't grow up rich. I grew up in a lower middle class family. I thought we were fairly well off, but it turns out my dad was a welder back then when I was growing up. He didn't make a lot of money, but we lived a good life. We had a smallish house with 6 kids. And I never felt like I was missing out. You look at what's going on now. My house now, there are people that have way bigger houses than I do, but my house now would be considered a mansion in 1975. The RV I have now, nobody had an RV like that back then. And I'm not a rich guy. I make a decent living. I'm happy. I work hard for it. But people that are even considered poor now live so much better than poor people did, 100 years ago, 200 years ago, 300 years ago. And I wish more people would look at the good and not just the negative stuff, because there is negative stuff. I get it. We need to eradicate racism. We need to eradicate bigotry. But the plain hard truth is that kind of stuff is always going to be around. There's always going to be people that hate because of how you look or who you love or a million different things. There are societies in this world right now where women have no rights. If you're gay, you have no rights. You might even be killed. Thank God we're past most of that in this country. Yeah, I hope I'm getting my point across. I hope we can find a way to come back together and not be so divided. I have friends on both sides of the political spectrum. I wish there was more than two sides. I think we need more than Republicans and Democrats. I think we need to have another party come in. And I know parties have tried to rise up, the Green Party, the Communist Party, for hell's sake. I got no place for communists. Socialism is trying to rise up in this country. Socialism has failed everywhere it has ever been tried. Venezuela was a very prosperous country. And then Hugo Chavez came in and took over and took all the money, and his people were in poverty. I'm a person that believes in work hard for what you get. That doesn't mean we're all going to be Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos or Bill Gates or 100 other people. I have no problem with people getting rich. Elon Musk's a trillionaire now. I don't have a problem with that. You know why? Because he creates so many jobs. Do you know how many millionaires were created by the public offering, IPO of SpaceX? I've heard it's hundreds, maybe thousands. And that's because of him. Somebody creating, okay, I have a perfect personal story here, and I'll end with this. My ex-wife and I started a company, 30 years ago now. And we got divorced. I decided to leave the company, and she built it into a pretty big company, which she sold for tens of millions of dollars. My father-in-law used to tell me nobody should have that much money. I love my father-in-law. He's such a good dude. He's passed now. Rest in peace. I miss you, buddy. But when she built that company, when we built that company, and then eventually she took over and, built it and sold it, it created so many jobs. It made a whole bunch of families have something. So billionaires are not made in a bubble. It's not like, Jeff Bezos or Bill Gates or so many other people created the company and just took all the money and hoarded it. No, it created thousands of jobs. I know I'm straying from it here, but it's all got to do with what a great country this is. These people, Elon Musk, he's a foreigner. He's from South Africa. He has said, I could never have done this in any other country in the world because there's so many regulations. It's so stifling. I love Norway. You couldn't do this in Norway. I mean, maybe you could break through. And Norway, there are so many great things about it. And I love it with all my heart. It's in my soul. But I wish more people would see all the good that happens here. All the help we give the world. And like I said, that doesn't mean we're perfect. We're not perfect. We got flaws and we need to work on them and fix them. But anyway, I hope y'all are having a great day. I really mean that when I say it. Even if you disagree with me, there's a couple of you that have been on my channel quite a bit that obviously I don't know, you're either trolls or just unhappy people. I don't know what it is. Kind of feel bad for you. It's just all negativity. And it's only a couple. 99% of you are positive, respectful, and I try to give that right back to you. I hope that comes across. If you're a troll and you're trying to get me pissed off and you're trying to raise my blood pressure, I don't need any more of that. I'm already on blood pressure medicine, which I'm trying to get off, by the way. So it's not going to work. I rarely respond to the trolls. There is one person that just keeps popping up over and over and over. I don't understand why they're here. Go find somebody you like. You don't like me. It's obvious. In fact, I think you probably hate me. And, you get to. It's okay. We're obviously never going to be friends. Some of you I see commenting over and over and over again, and I dig it. I love it. Even if you disagree with me, the fact that you keep coming back and your comments are cool and respectful, and we have a little bit of a dialogue going. I dig it. So this video went longer than I had planned. I was planning on like a 10-minute video. I'm going to go back to my online poker. I'm watching American Pie. It's Friday night. I don't get to do a lot when I'm on the road. Pretty much every night I just come back to my hotel. So every once in a while I'll go out and find a poker room, but the closest one is like 40 minutes from me. And I like to have beers when I'm playing poker, and I'm not going to drink and drive. So I play 10-cent, 25-cent poker online. Keeps me out of trouble. So thanks again for watching. If you subscribe, if you share, if you comment, if you like, I really do appreciate it. Thank you very much. I hope you're getting something out of this too. I might not be as coherent as I usually am right now, but I'm still having fun. I hope you are too. So, tack för denna gång. Vi snackas igen. Allt för Norge. Go Norway. Huge game tomorrow against England. My son-in-law is a giant England fan. Obviously, I'm a giant Norway fan. The striking Viking, Erling Haaland, is playing. He's just a badass, and he's caught on in America, and I think it's so fun because he's a cool dude too. He's 25 years old, same age as my youngest son. He's 6'5". He looks like a Viking, and he's a nice guy too. Like a lot of these big stars, Messi, Ronaldo, Mbappe, they walk right by their fans. They don't stop and interact with them. Erling, vi ska se det på norsk. I'll say it in my Norwegian dialect. Erling, he stops, he interacts, he wants to have fun with these people. His dad, by the way, played in the last World Cup that Norway was in, which was 98, I believe. And cool dude too. He's actually probably younger than me, and he's Erling's dad. But if you have nobody to root for in the World Cup tomorrow, root for Norway. And the it's so freaking cool. Sorry, I almost threw an F-bomb in there. The Viking roll. So have a great day, everybody. Thanks so much for watching. I really do dig it. Y'all rock. Peace. Love.